Hey, man.
What's going on?
Oh, not much.
I hate when you start episodes like that. You do that long O.
Oh.
You go, oh.
Oh. Have you ever heard of the Barkley Marathons?
The Barkley Marathons. Yeah. Is this what Charles Barkley does at Easter every year at his house? They're just like, it's the Barkley Marathons. Everyone line up.
Welcome to the Barkley Marathon. And then he makes everyone run until they puke.
Yeah.
Try
Last person to puke wins.
Last person to puke. And he's got the property for it. Everyone just runs around his backyard until they fill up.
Could you imagine if he didn't have the property for it?
He's got like a backyard, half-acre backyard.
You gotta do 300 laps.
It's like what you said when it rains and you have to go for a run.
I do. I run in my living room.
Just walk the wall.
Why do you laugh at that? I do. That's how I started when I originally lost weight. Well, because I was 400 pounds. I didn't want to run outside.
I mean,
because I thought that people were going to see me. I think, that's embarrassing. You ever seen a fat person run? Because in your mind, you're like, you don't do that every day. That's what I knew people were going to think about me out there.
I mean, shout out to you for finding something that works for you.
And I ran back and forth in my hotel rooms, and I didn't even care if I was on the first floor. I hope I was shaking a chandelier underneath me. You know what I'm talking about? I hope someone was just in the lobby, and then they just see the lights going.
Just the idea of you running 12-foot gassers in your living room.
It's 100% what I do.
Kills me.
I did it this morning. It was a little too chilly outside.
Don't you have a Peloton now? Peloton?
Hey, don't talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
We're trying to get money from our supporters. All right? We're trying to be like, hey, support us on Patreon. They don't need to know that I'm rich.
Patreon, Peloton.
They don't need to know.
Support us on Peloton.
Support us on Peloton. You can follow me.
It's not a Peloton.
Well, you can't. You don't have it.
He's got one of those exercise bikes from
How do you feel knowing that I have an exercise bike? I have an exercise bike that's worth more than your car. How do you feel about that?
I have a home gym.
Do you have a home gym?
I do. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Did you just buy some weights on Facebook Marketplace?
It's actually, I mean, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I don't use it.
I have a home gym too.
Yeah? Do you?
Yeah. He just hangs out in the other room.
It's one of my neighbors. I can't get him to leave.
Jim?
How's it going? I'm your home gym.
Yeah, that's my home gym. Anyway.
You're going to love this house. There's a home gym in the basement.
Oh my gosh. Dude, we should do that.
Who's that? Oh, that's your home gym.
That's your home gym. Yeah, and it's just a guy that
it's like a really creepy unfinished basement, and he's just sitting there on
he's like, I'll count how many times you run wall to wall.
On a camping chair. He's got a whistle.
In a camping chair, dude. Why does every creepy guy in the 40s have like a camping chair that they've had since they were 22? You know?
And he's just
lost
the
whistle. Bag that it goes in years ago. Lost that a long time ago.
You're running across the basement, and halfway through, there's that little puddle where the water is going down the drain. And he's like, "Watch that puddle!" And he like blows the whistle every time you step in it. Yeah, every time you step in it, he's like blows the whistle.
Yeah, that's my home gym. How many laps in my living room do you think 100 miles is?
And he says, this is a person that he knows for a fact is not going to make it.
That's what I'm like. Those sound like prison names, I guess.
They kind of do, actually.
I don't know what he sounds like. I'm going to make a guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah. He said, duct tape and Vaseline. That'll fix everything.
Things I learned last night.
Anyways, similar concept. So the Barkley Marathon, it was started by two guys. They were friends in Wartburg, Tennessee. Which is it's in just outside Frozen Head State Park, which is near probably the biggest town you would know is Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy that you brought that up earlier. I was like, where did that come from?
Well, because we've done an episode about Oak Ridge.
Well, I know, but it was just surprising because I didn't even bring up Tennessee. I just said, where is that? And you said Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And I was like,
oh, that is weird.
But yeah, this was right by Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Well, I was just there this past week.
Oh, yeah. Doing some nuclear bomb stuff.
Mm-hmm. With my away from home gym. He gets to see the world.
This is my travel gym.
My home gym is begging me to move into a bigger place, but not right now. No.
Anyways, so it was
So it's in that area of Tennessee, like that northeast Rocky Top.
the mountain.
Yeah.
The mountainous Tennessee.
The Appalachian Mountains.
The Appalachians. So their names are Gary Cantrell and Carl Henn, but they're more affectionately known as Lazarus Lake. That's Gary Cantrell. And Carl Henn is known as Raw Dog.
No, they're not.
Yeah, that's legitimate.
To who? Who calls
everybody?
them these things?
Everybody.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
Why? What, do they just come up with these names?
Call me Raw Dog. I don't know.
What is it, Lazarus Lake?
Lazarus Lake. People usually call him Laz, though.
Hey, man, my name
Call
is,
him
what's
Laz
his first name?
For short, Gary.
Gary? Yeah, I guess you could make up a better one.
The other one's Carl.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Gary. You can call me Lazarus Lake. Yeah. Hi, we actually had dinner reservations. What was the name on it? Gary? I don't have anything. Okay, try Cantrell.
No.
No, nothing. Try. Oh man, what name did it? Lazarus Lake.
We got that.
Yes, sorry,
We got
Mr.
that,
Lake.
sir.
Right this way. Why? Who? Okay.
I don't know.
Will it make more sense?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it might. There might be a point where you're like, "Oh, I understand," but it's not. We're never going to explain it. There's never
Okay.
an explanation,
All right.
but there might be a point where you say, "This checks out."
Okay.
So they in the 80s, early 80s, they heard of the escape of James Earl Ray from Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. Now, Brushy Mountain State, not a college,
Yeah.
prison.
Be cool if a college had a prison, though.
They after you
They do. It's just more of a metaphorical prison called debt.
Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, when you're released, they give you hoodies that say Brushy Mountain State Alumni Association.
Shut up. Okay. I was with you. Whatever.
No, so the prison is for the longest time had been kind of a prison where they shipped off some of the hardest criminals because it's placed right in the center of the Appalachians. And
If you escape,
you ain't getting anywhere.
yeah.
Was the theory is even if
Maybe
you can
that's
get
what
out,
Sasquatch does. People are like, that's a Sasquatch. It's like, well, I mean, it's just an escaped convict. You know? And that's why they started all these manhunts. Is
Yeah.
they were like, yeah, let's find. The police were like,
Sasquatch.
yeah. The police were like, yeah, let's find him. You know?
But the theory generally was like, if anybody does escape, they're just going to get lost in the woods and we're
Right.
going to find them. And James Earl Ray was one of those situations. He escaped. If you don't know who James Earl Ray is, he's the assassin who killed Martin Luther King Jr. And so in 1977, he escaped from prison.
Allegedly.
He escaped from prison and he went into the woods with, I think there was 4 other convicts that all got in, like they staged this big escape.
How'd they get out?
I don't know, actually. Maybe we can do another episode on that. I'll look into it and see if it's interesting.
We should look up some prison escapes.
Yeah, that does sound interesting, actually.
Yeah. And then we should try it. We got to try robbing a bank. We got to try. And well, that's what we'll do. Yeah.
TILLN escapes from prison.
Well, TILLN's got to go to prison first, right? So let's try
TILLN
to
goes to college.
Let's
cross out college, right? Prison.
Let's try to rob a bank. All right. And see if we get arrested. And if we do, then
And
we do
see
a
if
whole
we get
episode.
arrested.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of what can you get away with. If we can't get away with robbing a bank, we'll be like, we failed, which sets us
us up for the sequel.
And isn't that how God works? You know, if one plan doesn't work out, another one's right around
Won't
the corner.
he do it?
Yeah, and then we could try to get out of prison.
Great. So they escape, and none of them made it. So the other 3 died in the wilderness. He was found 54 hours later after traveling 11 miles. They actually found him face down in a pile of leaves. And he just his body gave out in exhaustion. And he only made it 11 miles. And so they took him back to prison.
He wasn't dead.
No, yeah, he was alive. He was just face down in a pile of leaves, which is a metalcore album.
Face down in a pile. I was trying to think of face down in the leaves. What was that?
Face down in the dirt.
Yeah.
That jumpsuit apparatus. Christian band. Did you know that?
Are they?
Not a lot of people knew that. They were a Christian band. Anyways.
Well, they were a band that had some Christians.
No, that was before anybody said that. They were a Christian band. But they weren't, anyways, they weren't a Winter Jam band.
That's different.
that's a whole nother. Anyways, so after hearing about this, Raw Dog and Laz were like, huh, interesting.
I don't like this. Okay.
They were like, that's interesting.
Were they in prison?
No. They lived in the nearby town.
But did they go to prison?
As far as I know, no. They might have at some point, but I don't know.
That's what I'm like. Those sound like prison names, I guess.
They kind of do, actually. But Raw Dog and Laz were like, that's interesting. I wonder how far we could get. Like, he made 11 miles. Like, how far could we go? And so they
literally did what I just did like 3 minutes ago, where I was like, we should try that.
But they didn't break out of prison. They just said, if we just...
Let's start from the hole in the wall.
Yeah. They just walked up to the prison and walked away.
That's where people got out. So they got to get in character. They got to drop in, if you will. You'll be like, okay, we just got out of prison. All right. What were you in for? They come with all these backstories.
Yeah. So they went out and they managed to go 50 miles. They backpacked through the Appalachians. They managed to go 50 miles and find their way out of the wilderness. And they were like, that was kind of interesting. It was really hard, but it was kind of fun. And they're like, what if we made a marathon out of that? And so they said...
So they were just trying to do Bear Grylls style at first, was like, let's see if we can make it out of the mountains.
They just saw this guy get caught, and they were like, I could do that.
I bet we could.
They're like, I could do that.
So then they created a marathon where they're like, if we can do it.
So while they were on this, they were like, this would make a pretty good marathon. And I don't know if they were marathon guys before this. Okay. It sounds like, by the fact that their names are Laz and Raw Dog.
They weren't.
I don't think they were marathon
not the type
dudes.
That's doing organized anything.
So they put together this marathon.
But they did 50 miles, which is a double marathon.
Yeah, it's huge. And so they were like, we could make a marathon out of this.
Do you know how long it took them to do it?
It took them a few days. Like
they camped out.
They were camping. They took their time. But they started. They called it the Barkley Marathons, and the first one was in 86. And this marathon has since become one of the more famous marathons in the world. In Europe, it is probably hands down the most famous American marathon. People travel from all over the world to participate in this marathon.
Okay.
The catch is...
you have to get arrested first. Yeah. And that goes on your permanent record.
There's a lot of catches. Probably the biggest catch being it's the most difficult marathon that exists. Since it was started in 1986, 14 people have finished it. 14 people have
including
crossed the finish
Lazarus
line.
and Raw Dog?
I don't think they've done it. I don't think they've done it. I mean, they went and backpacked, but I don't think they've done the marathon.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, but I don't think.
How long is it? 26.2 miles.
Well, so there's kind of two phases of it. They're adequately named: the short one and the long one.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to do the short one or the long one?
So,
is this official? I flew from Europe for this.
So the short one ran from 86 to 89, and that ran until 89 when Ed Furtaugh, whose nickname is Frozen, changed it after the movie.
What do you want your nickname to be? Apparently, we can be anything. You know?
I don't know.
Think of what.
Cars. Cars.
What'd you?
It's
Cars.
gotta be Pixar movies.
Cars.
This guy's Frozen. I'm Cars. Tim Carstone.
Does that be Pixar? Can it be animated movies? I would like to be Monster House. Don't ever call me anything that's not Monster House again. All right? You chose Cars?
The reason I chose Cars is because over lunch today, I watched an interview with Hasbulla. You know that kid?
I love this. Okay, that's my favorite. There are two accounts. I'll unfollow everybody else on Instagram and only follow two people. And the two people are Hasbulla and your boy Josh. Those are the only two people that I want to follow on social media.
Well, in the interview,
If you don't know, first of all, if you don't know who
Yeah.
Hezbollah is, he's a 19-year-old man
does he have?
in some European country.
He's in Russia.
He's a Russian.
Southern Russia.
But he's got some kind of, not a disease, but
it's a condition. It's like not
dwarfism,
disorder. Yeah.
but a form of dwarfism where he literally looks like a 4-year-old child.
Yeah.
Google Hezbollah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
He's 19 years old, but he looks like a toddler.
He looks like a toddler.
Yeah.
And so the first video I saw was they were driving real fast in the car and he's in the passenger seat holding on. It looks like someone's endangering a child's life.
Yeah. But he's an adult and he's endangering his own life.
Dude, it is. And all of did you see his Barstool interview?
It's probably the same interview I watched then.
Yeah, with the long-haired dude.
Yeah.
And he's just eating chocolate ice cream the whole time.
Yes, yeah.
And I love all the comments that are like, "This is a 19-year-old man, but he's got ice cream all over his face," like because he's just leaning into the fact that like I'm a kid.
I look like a kid. Yeah, the guy asked him.
Yeah.
He said like, "What's your passion? Like, what do you want to do with your life?" And he said, "I love cars." And he said, "What do you love about cars?" And he's like, tuning them up, like the sound they make, like how fast they are, like the experience of driving them. I'm like, I just love cars. And the guy asked, he's like, "Have you ever seen the movie?" And the guy was like, "I'm an adult." Like Hezbollah was like, "I'm an adult. I don't watch cartoons." And he's like, "I'm an adult and I love cars."
Yeah. It's that's my favorite
So cars has been
social
on the
media
mind all
person.
day.
Sure. That's why you've been thinking about cars so much.
Yeah, that's why my mind has just been cars all day.
All right. Well, your cars, I'm Monster House, and you and I would set out on the original one.
So in '89, Frozen was the first person to finish.
Okay.
3 years
And
into the
they
race.
were like, we need to make it longer.
Yeah,
because someone finished it?
At this point, the race was 55 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And so,
And that's the shorter one?
yeah, so that's the short one. And so after he finished it, Laz and Raw Dog were like, well, this is too easy. He was the first person to finish 3 years down the line.
3 years in, they were like, dang.
And so they extended it to a 100-mile race. And they called it the long run.
My gosh.
And when they extended it,
you're allowed to sleep and stuff.
I mean, yeah, but you're probably not going to finish because it's a 100-mile race. And the way it works is they're
wouldn't?
20-mile loops. So you're doing 20-mile loops around the Appalachian Mountains.
You're doing the loop 5 times?
Yeah, you do that 20-mile loop 5 times. The catch is you have 60 hours to do it. Here's the thing, though. It's in the Appalachian Mountains. So throughout the course of this race, from all the different climbs that you're doing, you end up climbing 27,000 feet in elevation across the whole race. So, because you're going uphill, downhill.
Right.
And so it's incredibly physically trying. Well, one, if you're going to go 100 miles in, what is that? A little over 2 days, like 2.5 days.
Yeah, even doing that like flat.
Yeah,
is...
would kill you. But
so how far do people make it?
Most people finish 1 to 2 loops, somewhere in that range. Most people don't make it to 3, 4, or 5. But you only have 60 hours to do it. I watched a video. It was really
Was there
sad.
somebody who was like so close?
Yeah, I watched a video of a guy from Europe who the cutoff is 60 hours. You have to finish it in 60 hours. He was 13 seconds past 60 hours.
That's what I'm
And so
saying.
he
No.
He didn't finish.
No. No. That's what I'm saying. I would lose my mind.
Yeah, he had a full breakdown.
I would protest.
You know?
I would burn down the Appalachian Mountains. And I would say, time it. See how long it takes. You've ruined this nature.
The entire mountain range.
Yep. You did this.
This is your fault, Laz.
Yeah, you don't know if it was Laz's decision. It could have been Raw Dog's. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. We love our listeners a lot, and one way that you can let us know you're here is by leaving a podcast review. Maybe that's a 5-star thing in the Apple Podcast app. Maybe you listen on Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. We do read all the comments and reviews. We just love knowing what you think about this show. Also, if you haven't yet, go check out some of our other episodes. My current favorite is the Identical Strangers episode. It's 3 brothers or triplets who were separated at birth, unbeknownst to them or their parents, as part of a really weird experiment. So there's a lot of really fun stuff we talked about in that episode, but thank you for checking this out. Now back to this one. And that's what I'm saying, is that imagine that last curve where people are like, come on, everyone's cheering, and then like the person on the clock is like, no. And he's literally, the 13 seconds would be like from here to that wall.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's 13
after
seconds.
100 miles.
Well, yeah, I guess after 100 miles.
Crawling.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
No.
He lost. But he's the closest.
But how many people have like finished
lost
the 100 miles though?
I don't know how many people, because I mean, there is a point where it's like, if you've ran 95 miles and you look at your clock, you're like, oh, it's been 61 hours. You're kind of like, I'm done running.
Can't do another 5 miles.
Yeah, forget that. And I think your body kind of gives out. And so that's the whole point of it. Like
my body wouldn't.
Laz.
How many laps in my living room do you think 100 miles is? Because if I go derp, derp, make that a website. How many laps in Jaron's living room is this distance?
100miles.com.
Because like here, and here is like a 1/10 of a mile. So if I go,
so how many laps is that?
So I'm running diagonal in my living room, right? Yeah. My dining room's involved.
Yeah.
And sometimes my front entryway right there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm running corner to corner to corner to corner.
That's a 1/10 of a mile.
And that's a 1/10 of a mile.
So that's 2 laps back and forth. We call back and forth a lap, or just one?
Back and forth, that's 1.5 laps.
So if you go from corner to original corner, that's a full lap, right?
No. Mugs. Corner, there. That's a 1/10 of a mile.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, okay. So four
But I would say
revolutions.
1, 2, that's a lap. So 6.
So 1 lap is a 20th of a mile.
No.
Corner.
2
corner.
lap. Hold on.
So if it's corner.
3 laps is a 20th of a mile.
Okay, cool. That's all I need to know.
Is 0.2 miles. 3 laps is 0.2 miles.
So you have to go.
So I have to go 15 laps per 1 mile. So it's 1,500 laps.
Yeah, to do 100 miles.
So that's 3,000 times across my living room. That's boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3,000 times. And sometimes my coffee table, I don't push it in all the way. I have to push my coffee table all the way so it's a straight line. And I'm just doing sprints in my living room. You know what? Say what you want, but like I guarantee we should foot race. I could run faster than you and farther than you.
I'm sure you could.
I hate that people. You know why? That's what bothers me. I know that I'm a larger person. All right. I hate when people comment the fat one on YouTube because I am in just a different league of health than you are.
Did you see?
Because when the things that you've eaten and the things you get out of breath so easy.
I do. Yeah. I get
literally
out of breath.
One of us in this whole show has to go every 5 seconds because your lung capacity is nothing. All right.
It's accurate. That's accurate. Anyways, so they in '89 they extended it to the long one.
Thanks for not defending yourself.
The 100-mile race. And so that was in '89.
Right. And since then,
it took 6 years for anyone else to finish again. And that was a guy by the name of Mark Williams from the UK.
But he goes by.
He finished it in 59 hours and 28 minutes.
What does he go by?
He doesn't have a nickname.
Oh.
So
That's an Appalachian Trail thing, is what I'm figuring out. No, I'm kind of serious. Yeah. Everyone gets like trail nicknames.
And then after that, really what happens is every time someone finishes, they make it a little harder.
So annoying.
So they're like, well, I guess it's too easy.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be
Seems too
impossible.
easy. It's not supposed to be impossible. It's that he said we want to get to the point where about 1% of people finish that race ever. Because he said, so his Laz, I don't think Raw Dog is involved anymore.
Yeah. Raw Dog was like, dude. Raw Dog was like, listen, it was 13 seconds. Give it to him. You know? And Lazarus was like, it's the principle.
Raw Dog went and started the 1904 Olympic Marathon.
There you go.
This.
Yeah.
I don't know if like they had a falling out or if he lost interest or if he died. Like I really don't know. Like I don't know what happened to Raw Dog.
There's no records if you Google Raw Dog.
I mean, if you if you look on the Wikipedia page for the marathon, Lazarus Lake has his own page.
Okay.
Raw Dog does not. So
why don't you go to LazarusLake.com?
I'm a little nervous about this. He hasn't changed the WordPress theme logo in the top left corner.
So he's got his own website?
He's using the Divi theme. So that's interesting. And it's advertising a different race, which is interesting. Anyways.
So then we're finding out that he does multiple races.
Well, I knew he did multiple races. I didn't know about this. This is a race that goes from, oh gosh. This race goes from, let me see. What town is this right here? What's that town called? I know what this is. It's a little outside of, oh gosh. That town in, it's pretty far from that actually. It's near Sikeston, Missouri.
Okay.
Probably about 50 miles out of Sikeston.
What, Cape Girardeau?
Not Cape Girardeau. It's further south. It's south of that. From there to... Gosh, this guy's a psychopath.
I'm just realizing I did the math wrong on my living room, by the
way. To Coal City, Georgia.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
So yeah, this guy's a psychopath. But this one is...
But he doesn't do them.
No. Yeah, so this was 314 miles is the race.
Jeez.
Anyways. He doesn't do the races. He just creates these crazy races. And so if you watch an interview with him, it's really interesting watching him because every interview I watched like a dozen. And every interview I could find, literally every single person says, Lazarus, are you a sadist? And he like laughs about it. He's like, no. He says, I think our culture has gotten too comfortable with comfort. And we don't know how to deal with being uncomfortable and doing something that's difficult. And so he says, I wanted to create something that is really hard, but possible to help people see, hey, like I'm stronger than I think I am, and I can go further than I think I can. And so he said, so this race, the Barkley Marathon, is really designed to push you to the edge of your mental and physical limits. And really, the majority of people who do it realize, I'm not going to finish this race. But they want to push themselves as far as they can and see how far they can make it.
Do you get like a certificate that you made it like 87 miles or whatever?
No. When you finish, no joke. No joke. Let me tell you the prize. You're going to love this. The prize is you finish the race, and then if you finish, there's a special
thing called clear, right? And
a guy takes you
to another room with a briefcase, and you can reach OT8. Win this race and you'll win enlightenment.
No, literally, you win the race, and there's a special green lawn chair by the finish line that you get to sit in and watch everybody else, and that's it. That's all it is.
You get to cosplay my home gym in a lawn chair, and you just get to sit there and be like, "This is what I trained for." Watch out for that puddle.
Good job, you won. You can sit down.
Spoken, I guess. You can sit on the ground. I have a chair.
Okay, this is perfect. Let me detail the whole scenario for you. So if you were to want to run in this race, there's no
Which I do.
There's no public information of how you register. So even getting involved in it is very difficult. It's basically invite only. Somebody who's ran the race has to invite you to do it.
I was going to say, Lazarus just has to see you running one day and be like, he's got form.
He's got it.
Yeah. That's also one of the reasons I never ran outside was, I don't want to get picked up by any marathons.
He just travels the world watching other marathons, and he sits on the sides and he's like, hey, you got good hips, son.
Ew. I thought he was betting on marathon runners like people who do horse bets. I'm going to put 20 on Frozen for sure.
20 on Frozen. So it's invite only. So basically you have to be in that network of marathon runners.
Okay.
And someone has to invite you. And it's become like this really tight-knit culture of people who run it.
Okay.
And so they all are, it's all kind of like, hey, you're only inviting people that you know are going to like
take it serious.
Yeah, and go for it. Because it's in this state park, and the state park has some pretty strict regulations on stuff like this.
Right.
So the limit for a race, every time they run the race, they do it a few times a year. They've done 1,000 races since it started. So they do it a few times a year. Well, the limit is 35 people per race. So
I guess because because they don't want people to like get lost and die.
I think they don't want 1,000 people running through these woods and trashing them.
That's probably fair too.
Yeah. So I don't know that, but that's my guess. Because if their concern was people getting lost, I think they would want more people in there. And as you hear a little more about this,
but I'm thinking like search and rescue though.
Well, when you hear a little bit more about this race, you're going to realize, they don't care if anyone dies.
Okay.
So it's invite only.
Because part of the race is that gun that they shoot in the air, they shoot it straight forward,
Run, boys!
they take someone out immediately. All right?
He ain't going to finish.
Got a bullet in his leg.
Try harder.
Yep.
So,
sorry about that photo frame or whatever his name is.
So the registration already, like you can't register. Someone has to invite you.
Yeah.
And the way the invite goes is basically they go tell Laz, hey, this is a person that should do it. And then
you
Laz
get an unmarked letter in your mailbox.
No, Laz emails you, and basically says like registration. You've been invited to register for the Barkley Marathons. Email me at a and here's what happens. Like I kid you not. So like he'll email, and it's different every time. But he'll email and he'll say, email me at 12:05 a.m. on Christmas Eve. And if you're...
Well, is that Christmas Eve or is that Christmas morning? 12:05 a.m. is just a very difficult time to keep straight.
And if you email him at 12:04, he's deleting your email. If you email him at 12:06, he's deleting your email. And
what if you got bad internet connection?
Then you can't do...
Lazarus, I live in the Appalachian Mountains.
And so, it has to be his time zone.
It was 13 seconds, Lazarus. Why is everything a race?
It has to be his time zone too. So if you're Pacific time, you have to figure, or if you're in the UK, you have to figure out what time is 12:05 Christmas morning where Laz lives in Tennessee. And so you email him, and then what he does is he takes all those people who have sent the emails, and then he essentially puts them in this big list and creates a pool. And he says, okay, what we're going to do is there's 35 racers. 34 of them will be veterans who have done this before. One of them is their sacrificial lamb. That's what he calls it. And he says, this is a person that he knows for a fact is not going to make it. So he just kind of, because they have to set in a letter. They have to set in a letter explaining why they want to do it.
I'm saying if there's 34 people who have done it before, and there's one person who's new, that means that the next year or whenever that happens again, you're only introducing one person to the race every single time.
Yeah, but they've done it 1,000 times. So there's a lot of people who are trying to come back.
Well, obviously, there's got to be.
Yeah.
It's the same 34 people running the race.
Every 2 months.
And they're just like, and that's a little culty where they're like, the 35th person is our new, hey,
it's
new
the
guy.
Sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, I'm photo frame. This is Boba Tea, and we're going to murder you in the woods. So.
We're gonna murder you in the woods.
Yeah. No. That was just a guy's name. Yeah. Hi, we're gonna murder you in the woods. I'm sorry, what did you just say? I said, we're gonna murder you in the woods.
I can't tell if that's your nickname or if that's something
You can call me
you're
Woodsy for
trying to say.
short. Okay.
So you have to send him your record of all the marathons you've ran. You have to send him basically an essay on why you think you should be selected to do the race.
Okay.
And your dollar.
And the selection rate. What did you just say?
And you have to send your $1.60 application fee.
I thought you said your daughter. Only dads. I was like, your daughter has to do what?
No, you have to send your application fee, which is $1.60. So
that's the whole fee.
Yeah, that's the application fee for this race. And if he deems you worthy, he will select you to be in the race. But every time he picks one person that he knows can't finish it. And he's like, you're going to lose as a sacrificial lamb. And they asked him, I saw a couple interviews.
Lose.
They said, why do you do this? Like, why do you pick someone that you know isn't going to make it? And he says, well, that's really just for my entertainment.
So you're telling me I could make it in as the person that he knows is not going to win.
Yeah, and prove him wrong.
A real underdog story. So
you get selected. You're one of the 35.
This is also how we got picked up by a lot of our advertisers too, though. They're like, this podcast is never going to make it.
We're just doing this for our entertainment.
Yeah.
And so you're one of the 35. And then what happens is you're not told when this race is going to happen. A couple weeks before, he's like, hey, race is happening in a couple weeks.
You just got to be out in the woods.
You just get an email. And Laz is like, hey, guess what? Race is in 2 weeks.
You just got to be in shape then the whole time. You got to be ready to run. You just got to
be ready to go. And then you get word that your race is coming up and you got to get to Tennessee. And then craziness doesn't stop. You get there and you know that the day of the race.
$1.60 is the entry fee?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what? They're making
$40
bucks?
$40, yeah. Yeah. This guy's literally doing it just because he loves it, honestly.
Okay.
And so
multiple times a year too.
Yeah. And so you get to this, you get to the park and you're hanging out at the park, you're camping there. The day of the race, the race will begin at either 11 p.m. on the beginning day of the race or 11 p.m. the next day. Any time between that window, within 24 hours of that.
Any time between.
Yeah, is when it's going to start.
So could it start like 2 a.m?
Yeah. And so the idea for that is he wants you to be so stressed that you don't sleep, that you're going to miss the race. And so he wants you to start exhausted. And
Lazarus, why do you do this? It's pure entertainment. Oh, it's so fun.
And so the race begins.
You ever seen 35 people come out to the mountains with something to prove? And then you just make it really difficult for them to prove that they're good enough for their dad's love. Oh, man. And he's like so callous about it. He's literally just like, he's sitting here like, he's like, it is.
People are just too comfortable, man. So
I do this for the $40.
$40 is a lot back here in the Appalachia.
In the Appalachia.
So the way you know the race is about to begin is an hour before the race starts. He blows a conch shell. And he's just like, in like a freaking seashell.
What does he wear? What does he look like? Do we have a picture of him?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked.
I don't like. Oh, yeah, dude. Freaking Appalachian Santa Claus out here.
Yeah, he's got a big white beard that's also kind of brown, but it's kind of probably just smoke stains. and then
Yes.
huge grandpa glasses, a red cap that says geezer,
Yep.
and flannel jacket like that's, and a huge Santa nose.
I mean, yeah, he's got the facial structure of a Santa Claus.
He looks like Santa. Yeah.
Got some big cheeks.
Yep.
That's a good picture of him too.
Yeah, it's a good shot. Hey, thanks again for listening to this episode. If you like our show, make sure you follow us on social at TILLN Podcast or subscribe anywhere where you're listening to right now, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. And if you want more, we do have a Patreon you can support us on. In there, you get all sorts of perks like ad-free episodes, early access to our content, and even a Discord with our hosts and producers. So we'd love for you to check that out. All you got to do is text TILLN to 66866. That's TILLN to 66866. But thanks again for checking us out. So he blows his conch shell, and then you have to go to the starting line. And when he blows the conch shell, the race is going to begin within an hour. So it could be an hour. It could be 32 minutes. And
13 seconds.
You know the race begins. A lot of marathons, most marathons, begin with the firing of the gun. This marathon begins
With him being like,
just looking around, like leading in real quick. Oh, gotcha.
go on, get you know, that's how he
Go on,
starts.
get
Go on, get out of here.
out of here. Get
Yeah.
out of here, my little human sacrifices.
My sacrificial lambs.
No, literally how it begins is...
And if you jump
I
early, he
forgot.
shoots you.
He has the gun. You think that's the starter gun, but that's the I'm going to shoot you if you flinch.
All right. He's got a big marker board with everyone's weird names on it.
And he's just
He just
crossing
erases,
everyone off.
We're going to murder you.
Like, looks like I murdered him. No, so I forgot another detail.
Oh.
With the registration, you have to bring a pack of a specific Camel cigarette. I can't remember which
That's
one.
why he does it. That's why he does it. It's for 35 packs of cigarettes. I was like, there's got to be something in it for this guy. And you know that's how he does it too, where he's like, oh, running low on Camels.
Time
Better
for
send
another
some emails. You have been selected to join the Barkley
Bring your Camel cigarettes.
race. Please mail $1.60. Ridiculous.
So you hear the conch shell.
Dude,
pack up your
when do you
camp.
give him the Camels? At the starting line?
When you get there.
When you get
in
there?
and you get your bib,
Oh.
you give him the Camels.
So he's just over here. Camel cigarettes.
Bunch of Camel cigarettes.
Shell. Everyone's lined up. He's like, I don't know what he sounds like. I'm going to make a guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, here we go. So, is that accurate?
It's pretty close. It's close enough.
Yeah, well, was it growly?
I mean, it's a little less growly, honestly.
Oh.
It's kind of impressive.
Okay. Anyway,
It's kind of surprising, I should say.
surprising.
It's surprising. I would expect him to be much more growly than
Okay.
he is. He's got a
So
little,
how does it start
little more
then?
high pitched. So the way it starts, the way you know the race begins is he lights a Camel cigarette.
Yeah.
And when you see that ember, it's time to run.
That's it.
It's time to run. And so he just is standing over near the starting line. And when you see the ember of the cigarette, you got to go. And there's a tradition where no one, for some reason, I don't know how this started.
All right.
That's a good Camel.
That's a good Camel. You said it was surprising. That's a good Camel.
And so there's a tradition that nobody lets Laz see them running. And so everybody just walks into the woods. Like he lights a cigarette and everybody just walks in the woods. And once they get out
Nobody
of sight,
lets him see.
don't Laz
Don't
let
let him
Laz
see
see
you.
you run.
Hey, listen here, sacrificial lamb. All right, there's a few rules you need to know about this. All right, at mile 13, there's a grape soda spot. Okay, it's really good. The main thing, though, and this is really important, don't let him see you run. What? Don't let him see you run. If his eyes are open, walk. It's what is it? It's like Squid Games where
Yeah.
like if that thing sees you move, it kills you.
It kills you, yeah. Don't let them see you run.
Don't let him see you run.
So yeah, so he lights a cigarette and everybody just walks
What?
into the
Everyone's
woods.
like looking.
And they're looking over and they're like, okay, we're out of sight. And this race, it's, oops, wrong one. It's huge. So you're running through, and every year it's different. So he gives you,
Of course, it's different.
every year it's different. And so he gives you general coordinates of the checkpoints. And what you get to bring with you is a map that you figure out on your own where the checkpoints are. You get to get your own map and then be like, okay, based on these coordinates, here's where the checkpoints are. So you make your route.
Are these mile markers? What is the 1, 2?
Maybe. I think they're checkpoints. I think those are just the checkpoints.
Okay.
And each route, you go a full loop, and then you have to do the next 2 loops backwards, and then you do the next loop back the other way, is the way it's designed. And so, but each checkpoint, all you get is a compass and your map where you figured out where all the checkpoints are, right?
Okay.
You don't know if you're right on your map about where the checkpoints are. You're just kind of guessing. When you get there, when you get to the checkpoint, every checkpoint, somewhere nearby the checkpoint, there's a little bag, like a plastic bag with a book in it. And what you need to do is you need to rip the page of your bib number out of the book, and that's how he knows you made it to every checkpoint.
That's. I'm not gonna lie. That's not a bad system. That's better than what I thought was going to be.
Yeah.
Is when you get there, you have to read a certain page, and on that page is a trivia question, right?
And you have to come back and tell him.
You have to memorize the 4th word of every page, and then say that.
And then
sentence.
say that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you just rip the page.
I don't like that the plastic bag you're showing says prison
Because it's the
it.
prison checkpoint. It's the one by the prison. And so that's how he knows when he takes them out.
It's a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, and it's duct taped
Says
to some.
prison. And it's duct taped to a pole.
Yeah. Yep. And so you get there and you have to get the book out, rip your page out, and then keep running to the next checkpoint. And so then when you get back, you're dropping all your pages to say, hey, I did it. I went to all of them.
Prison. But once you've done a lap.
Yeah, I want to be honest. I'm not sure how they keep track of it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you've done one lap and it's like, okay,
you ripped your page out.
I trust you for the next ones.
I'm curious if maybe they have numbers for every lap, maybe, is my thought. Because there's only 35 of them. So, like, they give enough numbers where everybody in every book has enough pages.
I'm surprised they have numbers. Well, it's not like printed out. It's just spray painted on their chest.
You walk up and
he's like,
he literally
pull your
just
shirt
like,
up. Pull your shirt up. What number did you spray paint?
65.
Not even a person. I put 31 because there's only 35 racers, you idiot.
No, because here's the thing. They have to be doubles because books are front and back. So they have to double it because if you're 31 and I'm 32 and that book page is front and back,
all right, you got me on that one.
The same one.
I'm not gonna lie. Don't ever do that to me.
And then you're running this race. A couple details about the race.
Do they have equipment or are they camping?
So an interesting thing about this race compared to a lot of other races is a lot of other races you'll have one of two things. You'll have a lot of checkpoints where there's water and snacks and things like that, or you'll have everyone will be assigned like almost like a caddy that carries your gear for you.
Yeah.
There's neither of those. So you have to carry everything that you need for the race. So if you want to bring waters or snacks or anything, you have to have that ready for you. And because you're doing all these massive climbs and declines, there are moments in the race where it's going to be snowing. There's going to be a moment where it's going to be hot. Like the temperature is going to drastically change. It could be raining. It could be fog. Like you don't know what you're getting into. And so these people have to be prepared for all this different weather. They have to be prepared.
Do you have a picture of what a typical runner looks like?
I have a picture of what a typical runner's legs look like at the end of the race.
Okay, I don't want to see that. I want to see if there's a picture of the starting line.
No. So.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the thing: it's not a clear trail. It's a
you're getting.
This is the
cut
woods.
up.
You're just running through the woods. So they're running through like briar patches.
I love the guy's
like,
got
all
a
these
beaver socks and the beaver's wearing a bow tie.
And his calves are just torn to shreds.
Yeah, it
You're
looks
running
like he
through
stumbled
tall
into some
grass
barbed
and-
wire.
Yeah, like it looks real bad. I mean, the people who run this, they all look like hardcore marathon runners. Like they look like they run 10 marathons a year. Yeah. So,
But I'm saying, like, do people bring backpacks then?
yeah, they bring backpacks. They've got all their. They look like they're going backpacking, because they look like they've got camping gear with
Okay.
them. But I don't think the majority of them are sleeping, because I don't know what your average mile time is after running 80 miles, but my guess is it's slow. And you have a 60-hour time limit to do this. So I would bet that people maybe lay down for an hour or two for a nap here or there, but I doubt people are sleeping through the night. I doubt it.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's taking an 8-hour.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I'm sure your body needs you to take a rest at some point. And there's no checkpoints where there's like food and stuff at a lot of places. That's another thing. He says even our marathons are comfortable. Like they call them comfort stations.
But
And so
he says this. He is clearly not a person who runs marathons.
no, yeah, he's sitting at the starting line in his green camping chair smoking all those Camels the whole race.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like Santa Claus, and he's like, "Yeah, everything's too easy for these kids these days." I mean, like, this is straight up like a crazy uncle who's just like, back in my day, we didn't even have to wear helmets. We literally we headbutted each other
Until our heads were hard.
Yeah. Evolution.
So, yeah. So there's none of those checkpoints. There's no food, no drink, nothing. There's 2 water stations on the route. And what happens is he just takes a bunch of gallon jugs of water, about 50 gallon jugs of water, and just goes to those checkpoints and just drops them behind a tree somewhere along the route. And it's not evenly distributed. And he's just tossing a bunch of water. And here's the thing. I saw in an interview, they said, so these races, they happen year round. And they said, I hear that sometimes people get to these water stations and they're frozen gallon jugs. And he said, yeah, life's tough sometimes.
Yeah, life's going to throw a frozen gallon of water at you, Well, you want a cushy race? Why don't you do one of these big city races or whatever? Life's hard sometimes. So they're frozen from previous races?
No, they're frozen because he stuck them out there and they've been out there for 2 days in the freezing weather.
Oh, I gotcha.
And they just freeze.
Yeah.
So people go through this whole race, and the other catch, where a lot of marathons, if you quit or if you get injured, there are crews that are like kind of patrolling the marathon to pick you up and take you back to the medical tent at the starting line. They don't have that. And so if you break your ankle, and this has happened, people have broken bones on the race and they've had to hobble their way back to the starting line. Because
however many miles.
Yeah, because there's no one there to help them. They're on their own. And so they have to get themselves back and figure it out. Nobody has died on the race somehow. But someone in one of the interviews I watched did ask, they said, you have no medical crew or anything that's patrolling, like you have nobody there to take care of someone. Like, this seems like a really dangerous race and you don't have anybody there to help anyone out. And he said,
yeah,
well,
death's hard sometimes.
He said, no. He said, we do have things to help. We have a medical kit for if something goes wrong. And they said, well, what's in the medical kit? And he said, duct tape and Vaseline. That'll fix everything.
Duct tape, Vaseline, and a frozen gallon of water.
Hey, rub one of those water gallons on it. You'll be fine. I broke my leg.
Yeah, there's bones sticking out.
Just rub that ice on it. Just put some ice. All you need is some ice, and you'll be back at it.
That's what I was saying. Like, somebody's going to die eventually, though.
I mean, you got to think so, but
he's been doing it for 30 years.
Been doing it for 30 years. I'm surprised no one's got eaten by a bear or something. Like, this is backwoods Tennessee. Like, I can't believe no one's gotten, like, genuinely, I can't believe anyone's gotten eaten. But I guess not. And then if something happens, if you quit, which most people do, or if you get injured and you go back to the starting line, when you go, you tell them you're done. You tell the guy you're done, and you tell him, hey, I'm going to quit. And if he says, okay, well, I'm going to quit, then you tell him you're done. And if he says, okay, well, I'm going to quit, then you tell the guy you're done. And if he says, okay, well, I'm going to quit, then you tell the guy you're done. And if he says, okay, well, I'm going to quit, then you tell the guy you're done. and he's got his friend there with him, and
Who's his friend?
I don't know, some guy, and he plays taps on a trumpet, and it just echoes through the Appalachians, and
That's what I was wondering. Like
someone else
Hunger
quits.
Games. Like where yeah.
And he said, they
And
said,
everyone on the trail stops and looks.
in memoriam, and he said the reason we play that.
Not cheese tray. What are you talking about?
And so the reason for that, Laz said, he said, I mean, two reasons. One, that's what they play when a soldier is killed in action. But he said, two, it's because they tapped out. And so we play taps.
Okay.
And so they play taps, and then everyone hears that throughout the woods. And then run the rest of the race. Almost no one ever finishes. And it is the most famous race in the U.S. if you're in Europe. In the U.S., I think there's other races that are more famous, but
Yeah, name one.
I don't know, the more famous race.
The amazing one. The amazing race. It's pretty famous.
He's got another race called Big's Backyard Ultra.
What is that one?
This is another
Just jungle gym in his backyard. He's like, how many laps can you do? Up the things, down the slide. Let's go, boys.
It's his half-acre backyard. It was just running back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think, is open to the public. It started in 2011, and the concept of this one is you're running. I don't know. You're running 100 miles in 24 hours, and so you're running loops where every loop is whatever 100 divided by 24 is, and your goal is to hit that in 1 hour. And so every loop you're doing a full hour. So at the end of 24 hours, you ran 100 miles, whatever that division is.
So you're trying to do.
Oh, it's a 4.25 mile loop every hour.
Okay.
Because if you do that and you keep that every hour,
So you got to run like at
4.25
least like a 14-minute pace.
Yeah, for 24 hours straight. A bunch of people do it. It started in 2011. And this one's had a lot of people finish. I think someone's finished every year. But they got winners. But the concept of this is it's not do you do the full 100 miles. It's if you don't do the 4.25 miles in an hour, so if every hour you don't do it, then you're eliminated.
Oh.
And so the last person standing wins.
Wow.
So they've had someone win every year. Oh, wait, no, actually, 2014 they didn't. 2014 someone didn't. Nobody won.
I could do it in 2014. At my heaviest?
Both runners dropped out at 49 loops. And so if you have to be the last one standing. This one was 2 at the same time as a tie, so no one won.
Oh.
Because
and they did that together too.
Yeah.
They were like, I'll quit if you quit.
The interesting thing
we
is...
could never do the Barkley. Man, these races are just too cushy.
The interesting thing is, in this one, nobody has got an interesting nickname of their winners. Where the Barkleys, you've
read some of the winners' names.
Cave Dog.
Yep.
That's the only one that's interesting, actually, now that I'm looking through this list.
Oh, everyone else is just like Michael Knowles.
Just the names, yeah. Those are all the UK people.
Tyler Masterson.
Yeah. Cave Dog was the only local to do it, to finish.
Wow.
But yeah, so long story short, this guy is insane.
Yeah.
Laz. Pretty incredible.
Can we find a fiddle playing tap?
Hey, thanks for watching Things I Learned Last Night. If you like this episode, you can watch more right here, or you can watch some highlights. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It helps us out a lot. Also, leave a comment below, and we'll see you next week.